Hi everyone, today I have this great set that Diamond Press brought to HSN ahead of the March 7th show. It's already available there on the HSN site. It's for the Slimline nesting set. I believe this also has card blanks, things like that. So they did send this item free of charge for my review, and of course all opinions are my own. And any links in the description box will be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if your purchased items through those links. So thanks for using those when you can. I'm already getting questions as far as if craft day there'll be like a cart. I don't know if they've been doing that the last few craft days. Now, I don't know any information about it. I'm just saying that HSN generally has free shipping over $75 now, and I think they even have like a reduced shipping of a max shipping now, which is what we've been asking for, which is great. Instead of just shipping, just accumulating. I think it's like $5.99 or $6.99 for the day up to the 75, and then free shipping after 75, right? So on some items. So definitely check that out. I think that's really great, because when it would just accumulate, that's not great. So let me open this up and we will check it out. So like I said, this is already currently available there on HSN. Obviously, it's much sooner than March 7th for the craft day, but they're there, and along with a paper pack that you might have already seen here, and the craft room shadow box set, which is adorable, and I will show you that very soon. So again, mini slimline nesting kit. It has all these dies here that will do what you're seeing here, and then it looks like the larger one has like a little stitching, a little scalloped edge. This one has a little dot kind of edge. This one has like a scalloped with the dot edge, and then you can put them together, of course, to make like this is backgrounds to make borders, or nest the backgrounds to make borders. Lots of different ways you can play with those, and we'll see it in action here. Oh, okay, and then the stamp set. So the stamp sets are like florals, and then we have the dies that go with them, so definitely maybe some heat embossing, some coloring, whatever it is that you like to make that pop. I always think just, heat embossing with some gold looks really lovely. Maybe a little color here and there, and that's some pastels or some ink or something, or color them in, right? But if you're looking for something quick, definitely heat embossing. It just looks really elegant. Die cut it, and you're good to go. Oh, little banners. So we have like for you on your special day, you are made to shine, feel better soon, sending a breath of springtime. Having said that, maybe you can hear it is raining. It's been raining. California is having quite a season. We need the rain, but it's too much. So anyway, we have the dies here for those guys. And then the card ideas. Oh my goodness. It's coming down pretty hard. And then, with the different like sprigs, really cute, maybe a little frame, maybe you layer up some of the different frames and, matte layers. So let's check this out. And again, this is mini slimline. And so we do have some card bases, which is really great to start you off with. And so let me see. These are 3.5 by 6, Diamond Press always coming through. I was wondering what sizing they were going to be, because some are a lot smaller. Some people make them a little bit taller, but skinnier, or whatever it is. And I always consider a mini slimline basically a mini. I was gonna say basically a mini slimline. So to me, a slimline is 3.5 by 8.5, and then a mini slimline is 6. 3.5 by 6. So, and that's what they have here. So we have some card bases, and then the stamps. So really nice size stamps. Again, a nice size for this kind of card, but A2, 5 by 7, you just layer them up. They'll be great for everything. And then the stamps, the for you and all those kind of feel better soon. We have this beautiful little sprig, very elegant. Little leaf there. And then, oh, look at that. They just really, I'm just putting them on here so you can see it better, but at the same time, it shows you kind of how that frames out. This beautiful little flower here. We have like a little extra something. Little flower on its own over here. We have this guy over here. Really gorgeous. And then a marquee cutting folder. So I get this question often. People ask what the flat embossing folder is for, and it is a cutting folder for the marquee. But if you do not have a marquee, do not worry. These thin metal dies will go through any machine that you have that cuts thin metal dies. But that's generally what this is for. It's a refill, which is really great. And the dies themselves. Let's check these guys out. So cute. I love the little rounded edges, and again, just the different layers like I discussed earlier. And let's see, the largest one is 5 3/4. I would say probably by 3 1/4. Yeah, okay, by 3 1/4. Great matte. And then they go, you know, concentrically, maybe half an inch smaller each time from there, it looks like, possibly. Yeah. And then our little banner pieces, or labels, however. And then the dies for all the different flower sprigs and the little leaf sprays. So what I'm going to do is grab some papers and some inks and things, and we will get started. Okay guys, so I've chosen a few things. We're going to have some fun with textures here. One thing I didn't decide though is if I'm going to orient my card portrait or landscape. I think I'm using this delicate one here. Let's go this way. Okay, so I'm going to do a portrait, and what I'm going to do is go ahead and use this gorgeous paper here, and I'm going to cut the larger piece from that. So just, you know, anywhere on this, I'll cut it down, I'll run that through. And then I'm going to take this guy, and I'm going to pair it with the next one down, just to make like a little frame in this cream colored paper. And that's going to give me a little frame, but before I talk about that, what I'm going to do also is just run this through this. Now I can just cut this down. I don't need to cut it from here because obviously it's going to be a little funky. This is a little something different to work with. It's just a piece of tool. And I'm going to run it through. I might just end up cutting it down. I just wanted to see if it actually would keep the shape, and then we'll use that to help us out with what I'm planning on doing. Okay, so I will run this through also, and we'll have that piece. So let me do that first before we talk about the frame. I'll be right back. So this guy, I did run it through, but I also ran it through with the metal shim, and it does have the scallop edge, which is a little difficult to see because it is tool and some funky stuff, but I'm going to put that to the side for now. I don't need that quite yet. And then again, that second largest one, I'm going to pop in here with this guy, and we are going to tape those down so they don't move as we run them through our machine, and that'll give us a little frame. You might be asking where this metal shim came from. So hopefully, in the past, if you had any shaker kits from Diamond Press, you might have one. They might have them available on mydiamondpress.com. I will certainly check and link it if that's the case. It just cut easier that way with the metal shim underneath. And then we have this guy here. And I'm going to make a shaker, but I'm going to make it flat. We can definitely put dimensional, but I think we're already playing with something that's a little funky to work with. Let's just make it a little bit easier on ourselves, you know? So I have this sweet little frame that I'm going to glue this to the, you know, back of. And then since we have that, and we have this piece, we have this extra piece we can use on different projects. So that's the other little matte layer you would get, you know? Let me put some of these things away, and we'll start assembling this so we can move on to making our little flowers and things. Okay, so let's bring our card base. Now if you want to matte layer this also again, I mean, you can definitely do that. I'm just going to go right for these guys. So pretty. And I'm just going to glue this down. And since we're going to make a flat shaker, I'm not super concerned with how I glue this other part. But if you want to make a second frame and sandwich your tool in between the two frames, you can definitely do that. I'm just going to go for it. So we have that. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue for now on the back of this. I don't really think it's going to do much to keep it down, but I'm going to go ahead and glue this and add the tool. I suppose you can do it with hot glue. You can probably do it with, you know, double-sided adhesive. I'm just going to bring it over and just, you know, layer it in here as well as I can. Like I said, I may or may not hold on to it, but I'm not super concerned, because we're just going to glue this down anyway. So I'm going to hold this down for a little bit, and I'll be back. Yeah, so I just walked around and kind of gently held it down, and it's on there like a little screen. We're going to have our card here, and we're just going to pop that on there. Of course, it's whatever you like as far as, you know, whatever kinds of things you prefer in your shakers. And what I'm going to do is, I just have this little mix that's already made that way, you know. And I would focus more on the pink and white ones, but I'm not going to be too picky. Maybe throw out some of these red ones. I'll try to focus, like I said, getting more just the pink and white, and a couple of red ones here and there, but I'll be right back. I'm just going to lay out a few on here. Like I said, I picked out mostly pink and white. I know it might be hard to see, but I just put this on here. I think that looks great. So I'm just going to glue it down, straight down. So I'm going to put a generous amount of glue because I'm just using a wet glue. And we'll get this on here. All over. Again, it's just like if you're using your adhesive, your 3D, you want to make sure you don't have any gaps, right? Or at least any gaps small enough, or large enough, should I say, that your shaker mix will pop out of. Let's see. So cute. I love the way that looks already. I am going to leave this flat for a minute. So what I'm going to do whenever I do something like that is I'll take like maybe my cutting folder and I'll put my marquee on top of it. And that makes a nice weight. I'll be back. Good enough amount of time right now. And there was our little flat shaker, and it still shakes really well because, you know, it's not like super tight. I was going to use vellum. Vellum looks really lovely also, but I went with the tool just for fun. All right, let's put that guy to the side. And I already have some paper mounted on here. It's actually marker paper. I don't think I'm going to do any coloring, but that's what I'm using. I was debating using some cream colored paper just to bring the cream back in, but since we do have the white card base, I thought, well, let's echo that white card base. So I'm going to use, again, that little sprig, and I'm just going to stamp it in gold and emboss it in gold. Now, you don't have to do both. If you have watermark ink, you know, or colored inks and then a clear embossing powder, that works great too, because that way you just have the clear embossing powder. It works for everything. I'm using gold on gold. And I will go ahead and take a moment to use this little guy. Not get any extra embossing ink where I don't want it, especially because I'm using gold, so it definitely has color on it. This guy, I get that gold to the surface. Okay, there we go. Again, this is just doubling it up, but you don't have to do that. Looks good. And just gonna pour this on top of there. Let's put this to the side. And that was a gold pigment ink. I'm not sure if they have gold inks that aren't pigment, because that's how you get the gold in there. So they take a while to dry. And that's why they're great for embossing also. I'm just trying to pat this around, not to make a huge mess. Again, this paper is really sturdy. And I'm just going to funnel this back in here and then just heat set it. So I will be right back. And generally I give it a little flick on the back into, you know, a paper, and then I funnel that in, but I didn't have paper, so I just flicked it in the air just to get rid of like the little extra bits that are like out here. Okay, I'm going to heat set that and I'll be right back. So I'm just going to take a moment to rinse this off, put that away, let this cool off. It's warm to the touch. I don't know if you run it through already, if it's going to like spread out. I doubt it, but I always just let it cool off. So I'll be back in just a minute. So let's go ahead and die cut this little guy, and I believe it is this one. Let's see. Yeah, looks good. Okay, so again, you can see through here now, I did heat emboss this paper, and so that's why it's like warped and being a little funny on me. So I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and make myself an aperture. I don't know that I can make an aperture from this scrap of paper. Let's see. This scrap is probably too small. Yeah, let me go get another scrap of paper. I'll be right back. This is a scrap piece of paper. I chose a color that coordinates in case maybe I want to drop shadow it, right? Add a little something else. So generally I look for a spot that looks like I can use it as a flap that doesn't move too much. I think on this one that might be maybe here. Okay, and let me run that through. And with your embossing folders, you're going to start using them. They might warp a little. I just, you know, I was cutting on this side. Now I'm going to cut on this side. And next time maybe I flip it around and I cut on this side and I cut on this side. I just cut all over them. So you don't have to just keep cutting the same side because that's where you started. They're definitely flippable and cuttable everywhere. So let's get this guy going. So what I'm making is an aperture. So now what I'm going to do, I'm not going to remove that. We're just going to kind of flap it up like this. And then you can peek and see exactly where you're going to cut. So you're making like a little aperture for yourself to look through and see just about where you're going to be cutting. And if you're happy with that, you know, you can then just pop this back down. Make sure the die is in the area. You know, sometimes it might shift a little bit, even if you have your tape. And I'm going to put a little more tape, although with the marquee you can just hold on to this and it'll be great, but I'm going to tape from the paper to my project a little bit just to help me keep that secure. And bring this over here and I'm going to run it through. And, you know, we'll just hopefully have something that's pretty well on the mark. especially like I said, the paper gets so wonky when you heat emboss. Not always, but sometimes. And there's a nice cut. I love that it even has this little detail cut in here. That's really great. And then I have a drop shadow if I want to use it, which I probably will. Why not? What's here? And let me just clean up a little bit. We'll think about what we want to do for our sentiment, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I brought this back. I'll have something similar to this, I think, very close to that. And then I was just kind of playing with these tags. I think I'm going to take this one. Well, we can do either one. Let me see. Like that. That would be good, but the sentiments pretty much go in the other direction, so I think I'm going to go with something like this. And I just grab some more of the cream colored paper, and I think I'm going to stamp like "for you." Again, we can go with gold. We already used gold, you know, with our embossing or however it is that you'd like to stamp that. I think I'm going to stamp this with some brown because I feel like that goes with what I have going on. And so I'm just going to do it by hand, and if I need a precision press, I'll just bring that out. But for now, let's just give it a stamp. Looks pretty good. I'm going to do it one more time. I like the first one better. Okay, so we'll do that first one. And I'm just going to eyeball this just in the center. And I think that looks pretty straight, left and right. I'm going to run that through, and I will be right back. Okay. And our little banner. And you know what? I just remember we have this cute little like curly Q thing, and I have some space, so let's just pop that on there. And again, I'm just going to do this by hand and eyeball it. So there's that. And just pop that on there. Cute. Okay. Okay, so let's glue these guys together and finish up our card. I was just trying to see if I want to drop shadow it in this way or this way. They're both cute. I feel like I'm going to drop shadow with the pink peeking out underneath to the bottom. Oopsie. Like in here. Looks pretty good, so I'm going to hold those down and I'll be right back. Okay, guys, and there's our sweet little shaker. I did put some dimensionals on this, just ready to go, and I'm just going to pop it right on here. Like up in this corner. And then this guy, I think I'm just going to glue it down. Now, you can definitely put dimensionals. I'm just going to glue it up in here and like whatever it might touch down here. Not too much in the screen area, but something. So I'm going to hold that down, and then I'll show you what our card looks like. Okay, guys, and there's our really fun card. Our mini Slimline has a lot of texture, a lot going on, and relatively, I mean, flat, right, for everything that's on there, which is always my preference. It's just easier to mail and all those kind of fun things. So thank you so much, Die Press, for sending these items for review. Really well done set. I love the little elegant flowers with all the little mini Slimline nesting dies that you can play with in so many different ways. So I'll have the images coming up. I'll have the links in the description box, and I'll see you all at the next one. Bye now.